That reading, if you were here at 9 o'clock, you would have got much more on that reading than you're going to get today. So at 10:30. So feel free to pick up the recording. If next Friday it'll be on, hopefully. But I want to talk about this gap in between a mountain. That could be the gap between leaping forward into faith or walking away from it, yes? Could be the gap. And it's massive. It's scary, yes? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And we'll think about that this morning. Let's pray. So, Father, as we think about the gap between knowing you and walking away, help us to know you clearly, know you much closer, and that the people who are trying to make that decision in this world, that they find that gap is not as scary and not as wide as perhaps it first looks. Amen. Now, there are lots of ways that you can almost prove the existence of God. Almost prove the existence of God. I'm going to just cover a couple. This is the first cause one. Has anyone heard that one before? Okay, basically everything that has ever existed in the world has been caused by something else. And that chain of causes goes all the way back. But it cannot go back to in infinity. It has to stop somewhere. And where it stops, the first cause is the uncaused. It never got caused by anything else. Yes? Does that make sense? And that first cause, the uncaused, we would say is God. Yeah? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, that makes sense, yeah? Yeah, and there's a good Bible verse behind this. It doesn't prove it exactly, but in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, yes? That's a good Bible verse that kind of illustrates that. Let's get another one up. This one, life from life. Life from life. The idea that no life has existed unless some other life gave it life. Okay? A good example, God breathed into Adam. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, happy with that one. What's the next one? Right from wrong. We all know what's right, don't we? We all know what's wrong, don't we? Yeah, everybody in the world knows that you should not kill somebody. Yes? How did we get that? Well, we would say that came from sort of a moral code that is built into us. Animals don't have that. Animals don't have that moral code. That moral code must have come from somewhere. And the Bible tells us that there is a moral code in this world and it is attributed to God. Excellent. Everyone happy with that? Okay, fantastic. Get rid of that one. The problem with those three and the 20 or so others is there's a point where you say, yes, I totally get that, but. Yes, but. So the first cause one, yes, I totally get that. That makes perfect sense, but I'm not sold on the idea it could be God. It could be something that we don't know in the cosmos. Something like that. Small furry creatures from Alpha Centauri, for those of you who like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and stuff like that. That's one of them. What was the other one I had? Life from life. Yeah, that so far nobody has managed to create life from non-living elements. They've done a mixture, but no one's done it from non-living elements. But who knows in the future? Who knows in the future? It wasn't long ago that we didn't even think we could have video phones, did we? You know, things move on. What was the other one I had? I've forgotten what the other one was, the third one. Oh, the moral code one. Yeah, makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it absolutely does. But who knows? Somewhere in the mists of time, our ancient ancestors devised the kind of moral code where they said, oh, well, this is good, this is bad, and this is really bad. And we just kind of picked up on it. We just don't know. We just don't know. I won't bore you with all the sort of other examples because they're all coming to the same thing. Yes, but. And then this week, I think I almost nailed it. I was listening to a chap on YouTube, which obviously is the best place to get your theological learning from. And he was talking about probability, the probability that there is God in the universe, or God and not, or not. And it's more probable there is than there isn't. And it kind of was starting to make sense. And then he used a fantastic illustration. It's so completely nuts that he lost me in it. But I'm going to give it to you. Imagine you're walking through a forest or woods or something like that, and there in front of you is a tree stump, 3 foot high, flat as you like. And on top of it is a tortoise. And the question is, how did that tortoise get there? And the answer really is, did the tree stump grow to 3 foot and then stopped and stayed flat? And then a tortoise, which is a sort of horizontal climber, climbed up it vertically and then just rested on top of it? Or did some woodsman come along, cut down the tree, find a tortoise and stick it on the thing? Which is the most likely? The second one, yeah, the second one. Most likely that someone cut the tree down, found a tortoise and stuck it on there. Now, at this point, I'm completely lost because I've just lost the plot completely because I got fascinated by the tortoise. And I thought to myself, I swear tortoises can climb. So I went on the internet, he's playing, I'm going on the internet. And sure enough, 2 minutes of research, that's all it took, 2 minutes of research to completely destroy his entire argument for me. His whole illustration went out the window. Tortoises can climb vertically, straight up. It is determined by a number of factors, the kind of tortoise, that sort of thing. I don't know the difference, but it just said what kind of material it's climbing up. And most importantly, why? Why is it wanting to climb up something? And I thought to myself about this tortoise here. Why does he want to get up that high? Why does he want to see what is out there? And that was the answer. He needs to get a new perspective on life, a new way of looking at life. That's why he got up there. And that started me to think about things completely differently. Do I really need a proof about God? And I thought to myself, I don't know if I do. But what I might need, especially if I'm looking to whether I want to commit to God or not, is perhaps what I need is not a proof about God, but pointers towards him. Pointers towards God. What is it about this world that we live in that tells us there is a God? We talked a little bit, Lou introduced, and I am not going to say she's completely wrong at this point, at all, okay? But I want to narrow that gap, that leap. I want to narrow that gap so that we don't have to make this completely amazing leap into the unknown. That kind of, that blind faith, yes? You know what that is? Blind faith is when you just step out and you do it because you just haven't got enough information. I don't want to talk about blind faith. I want to talk about unblind faith. Unblind faith. That is taking that leap, or actually it's a small step in the end by the time I've finished, because you've built up so much information that the only real way you can go to do anything is to take that step forward. Unblind faith. So I'm going to give you an illustration. If you're ill, what are you going to do? Sorry? Have some medicine, yeah. Go back a little bit. If you can do, you'll probably go to the doctors as well, wouldn't you? Okay. So imagine this is your first time ever of being ill. You know you're going to have to go and see a doctor, but you don't know about where the doctors are. So what you do, first of all, you do a research. You look in the phone book. Oh, phone book. What's one of those? You look in a phone book. You look on your internet browser. Thanks. God, my arm's going. You look on the internet browser and you look for doctors and you notice there is a doctor in your local area. Fantastic. You make a note of where he is. You get a map out on your phone. And you start walking towards it. And as you are walking towards it, you are starting to pick up clues. You can see where he is on your phone because the little arrow's moving towards it. You can see all the road names around. This is all looking very positive, isn't it? And as you get closer, as you will know, you will often get a specific sign saying surgery this way. Yeah? Oh, I forgot to mention earlier, before you set out, you probably phoned to book an appointment as well. You wouldn't just turn up, would you? No. You'd never get in, would you? And you're walking towards it, and as you get closer to the road and you see the building in front of you, there's another clue. There's a sign on the building, and it says doctor's surgery, doesn't it? Or something like that. Yes, they're not going to name another building doctor's surgery and it's going to turn out to be a toilet or something like that, is it? So that's another confidence booster. And on that sign it says something like, I don't know, Dr. Smith, opening hours, blah, 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 blah. If in emergency call, all these things are building up that picture that there is a doctor in that building. So you nervously, with trepidation, you step over the threshold. That is not the big leap I'm talking about, okay? This is just getting you into the building. And you suddenly find yourself in a waiting room. And there are other people in the waiting room, which is positive. This is where sick people go. It's also worrying, but that's a different story. And you look around the building, and on the walls, there is posters, healthy eating posters, I don't know, check your blood pressure kind of posters, don't abuse the receptionist poster, all those sort of things. And so it's all positive. You're building up. Here is a doctor's surgery. This is looking positive. Maybe there is actually a real doctor in this place. Who knows? You go to the reception, you sort of say, hello, my name's Ian, and they say, yeah, great, have a seat, we've got you. So you have a seat with all the other sick people. Positive, but never mind. And then they call your name out and they say, off you go to the little room down the end. And you think, okay, well, here we go, off we go. You knock on the door opens, the doctor greets you, and you walk in. And you've got more evidence. There's a bed. It's not conclusive, I tell you that it's not conclusive, but there is a bed. There's a heart machine thing or something, a blood pressure thing there. There's a notepad or a prescription pad. It's all building up. This looks like what you would imagine a doctor's room to look like, yes? And then you look at the doctor and you've got this impression of what the doctor looks like. And they obviously look healthy, which is good. And they've got a stethoscope. Every doctor has a stethoscope, don't they? Why would somebody else who's not a doctor wear it? So it's all building up. Nurse, I know nurses do as well. But for the purpose of today, doctor. And then he tells you to sit down. He or she tells you to sit down. The doctor says, please sit down. What's the trouble? And you tell them what the problem is. And lo and behold, they appear to understand. This is really good. And just one last check. You see a doctor's certificate on the wall. So you think, this guy's qualified as well. So it is all building up, isn't it? But there is still this gap. It's going to say, I need to treat you in this way. And this is the decision you have to then make. Is this doctor real or isn't he? What do you think? You've built all this evidence up. And you are now not on a huge gap like we had at the start, not a huge mountain to climb, but really, do I trust this person to help me or not? And the answer's got to be yes. Because at some point, you've got to make that kind of last bit of the leap there, yeah? And it is not a leap. It's just a step. And that's what becoming a Christian ought to be like. It shouldn't be a massive leap into the unknown. It should be a sort of just a gentle step. And I'm off script now because I've forgotten what I was going to say. But you and me are the people who are what gives that other person who's trying to make that step the chance, because they are looking for clues. And you are the clues. You are the biggest clues in the whole lot, because they will come to you and they will look for you and you will be able to help them. We do an awful lot in this church we've talked an awful lot about planting seeds. Yeah? You're hearing it a lot. And we've been planting seeds for ages and ages. We've done it in Holiday Club, where we had 50, 60 children, all sat there looking as intently at me as you are now, wondering what he's going to say next. We've planted. No one in Holiday Club is expecting those children to suddenly get up and say, I'm a Christian. Brilliant if they did, but that's not what we're doing. We're just planting seeds so that one day those children may look back on Holiday Club or hear something that they heard again since Holiday Club, and it just might tweak them, just might give them something extra. I dare say New Wine has done the same for a lot of the children as well who went there, and a few of the adults. Well, you're an adult nearly, aren't you? Almost 16? Yeah, nearly. He'll be voting soon. Maybe. Yeah, well, you know. So it's all about Holiday Club. If you, all about planting seeds. If you look outside the windows at Fareham, the town of Fareham, or even the parish of Fareham, who prays for those people out there? Because they don't realise they're on a journey. They don't realise that they're on a journey. We know they're on a journey, but they don't know that. But are you praying for those people out there? A good place to start is with the prayer diary, because it has the names of each road in there for each day. Worth picking that up if you haven't got one and starting to do that. We are all on a journey, but you have to imagine I'm just going to go back to my tortoise a minute, what that tortoise, if that was us, what that tortoise must have felt like when he saw a whole new world out there. Okay? He must have loved what he saw and thought, there, my questions are answered. And imagine those people out there who are looking to start that journey or on that journey or have completed that journey. Imagine how they must be feeling with just these signs, these little pointers along the way to help them. And you there providing the clues. I think, and I'm going to end on this one, I think it looks a lot like what we're about to see now. Remember the look on that tortoise's face when they have discovered Jesus. That's the look. That's the freedom you get. So ultimately, proving the existence of God, that's not what we're here for at all. We're here to show people the clues. That's what we're here for. Planting seeds, doing those sort of things, showing his love is our calling. And the rest is God. And that's a freedom worth celebrating. Amen.